I still remember that day as clearly as if it happened yesterday. The air was thick with tension, the kind you can almost touch. I walked into what was supposed to be my daughter's apartment, a place I had helped build dreams for, a space filled with potential, light, and laughter. But it was empty, silent, cold. 3 days prior, everything had changed. Emma, my daughter, the girl I had spent years raising with love, care, and sacrifices beyond measure, suddenly became someone I didn't recognize. She had inherited $33 million from a distant relative, and in a heartbeat, she threw me out of the life I had devoted to her. Her voice, cold and unyielding, still echoes in my mind. "Dad, I don't need you here anymore. You can leave. I've got my life now." I froze, the words struck like a dagger to my chest. My own daughter telling me I was no longer welcome. My mind spun, memories flashing like lightning. Sunday breakfasts, bedtime stories, laughter over spilled milk. And now all of that seemed gone. Have you ever been blindsided by someone you trusted most? That shocking, gut-wrenching moment when love feels replaced by betrayal. That was me, standing in her doorway, feeling like the ground had disappeared beneath my feet. Before we go further, if you want to see more stories of betrayal, revenge, and life-changing twists, please comment below which city you have watched. Make sure to subscribe to Darkside Revenge and hit the bell so you never miss a story that will leave you speechless. But little did I know, the story wasn't over. In fact, it was about to take a twist that would change everything. To understand what happened, you need to know Emma and how she was before the money. She wasn't always like this. Growing up, she was curious, kind, and bright, the kind of child who would stop in the middle of a playground to console a crying friend. We shared Sunday mornings making pancakes, evenings reading stories, and long drives where we talked about dreams, ambitions, and life itself. I worked tirelessly to provide for her. Every long hour at the office, every skipped vacation, every financial sacrifice, it was all for her. I wanted her to have the world I never had. And yet, all of that love seemed invisible the moment that $33 million entered the picture. The day she received her inheritance, I noticed subtle changes, a shift in her tone, a sudden sense of independence that felt bordering on arrogance. I tried to approach it gently. "Emma, let's talk," I said, my voice steady, though my heart was heavy. She looked at me, eyes sharp, voice distant. "Talk. Dad, I'm an adult now. I have my money, my life. You're holding me back." Holding her back, I thought. I raised her, I protected her. And now she sees me as a burden. I walked away that day without confrontation, my mind a storm of disbelief and hurt. That night, I lay awake questioning every choice I had made. Had I done something wrong? Was my love not enough? Or was this simply human nature, cruel and unpredictable? Then came the call that would flip everything upside down. 3 days later, my phone rang. I almost didn't answer, afraid it was another confrontation. But it was her. "Dad, I need you," she whispered, trembling. "Emma, what happened?" I asked, my chest tightening. I messed up. Everything's falling apart. Please, I need your help," she said, voice breaking. I didn't think. I drove straight to her apartment, my mind racing with questions. What could have gone wrong in just 3 days? When I arrived, the scene was devastating. The luxurious apartment, barely touched, felt cold and alien. Emma sat on the floor, tears streaming down her face, clutching papers. Bills, legal notices, failed investments, threats from people she had trusted blindly. "Dad, I was wrong. I didn't see it before. I need you," she said, barely audible. Anger, heartbreak, and relief surged through me. I wanted to yell, demand answers, confront her. But instead, I knelt beside her and held her. "I'm here. We'll fix this together." It's amazing how betrayal can cut deep, but love reaches further than any anger, any resentment. Over the next hours, the reality of her situation unfolded. Emma had made rash decisions, trusting strangers and reckless advisors. She had spent her inheritance in ways that were careless, putting herself at risk financially and legally. I guided her patiently, step by step, explaining the consequences, strategies, and lessons she needed to learn. With each step, I saw a glimmer of the girl I knew, the one who had grown up under my care but was temporarily blinded by wealth and pride. And then came the confrontation, the moment that would define our relationship. "Dad, why didn't you let me fail?" she asked quietly, ashamed. I paused, words mattered. "Emma, I could let you fall, but I've seen the pain of falling alone. I love you too much to let that happen. But you also needed to learn this is your lesson, but you don't have to go through it alone." Her tears fell, silent and unstoppable. In that moment, the anger of the past 3 days melted away. I realized that love wasn't about letting someone fail. It was about standing by them, even when they pushed you away. The next days were intense. We worked together tirelessly, tracking investments, resolving legal issues, and rebuilding her sense of responsibility. Emma began to understand that money alone could not solve everything. Wisdom, patience, and guidance mattered more. One pivotal moment stood out. She looked me in the eyes and said, "Dad, I see now. I don't just have money, I have your guidance. I've been blind, but I understand now." It was a mixture of relief, pride, and emotional exhaustion that I had never felt before. That night, sitting together in her apartment, the bond we shared felt renewed, stronger than it had ever been. The betrayal, the pain, the anger, all of it transformed into something deeper: trust, respect, and understanding. By the end of the week, Emma had regained composure. She apologized, not just in words, but through her actions, listening, learning, and valuing the wisdom of experience. The story left lessons for both of us, and for anyone who has ever felt betrayed. Trust is fragile, but so is love. Even when someone pushes you away, patience and understanding can heal wounds. Wealth isn't everything. Money can change circumstances, but it cannot replace care, guidance, and human connection. Forgiveness strengthens bonds. Standing by someone in their darkest moments can transform betrayal into renewed love. Have you ever been betrayed by someone you loved? Or maybe you were the one blinded by pride or ambition. Think about it. Life's hardest lessons often come in moments like these. Emma and I are stronger now. The money, the betrayal, the tears, they taught us that love, guidance, and forgiveness are more valuable than any fortune. If this story touched you, leave a like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to Darkside Revenge for more gripping tales of betrayal, revenge, and life lessons. Remember, the darkest moments often teach the brightest lessons.